Continuing with the program of today, and now we are jumping into our breakout sessions. And here on this main stage, I have the pleasure today of facilitating and moderating this session dedicated to an EIC matchmaking pitching with some of our EIC beneficiaries that will be actually meeting up with representatives from our mission cities. And we have been hearing a lot today, this morning, about the objectives of this 5th City Mission Conference. And among these, we have been hearing a lot about trying to develop stronger partnerships. We have been hearing a lot of making implementation much easier, much more effective, which is not an easy task. And in order to do so, among the tools that have been mentioned this morning in the opening greetings, we have been all hearing about doing more matchmaking, getting to be more interactive, letting the actors in the ecosystem meet each other, be more cooperative, try to make implementation somehow easier. And here we are. This is exactly an example of this. Here, the EIC Innovation Procurement Program, powered by Spin4AC, which I have the pleasure of representing today. By the way, my name is David Brunelleschi. I'm part of Intellera Consulting, one of the companies behind this Spin4AC initiative, is now bringing on stage this pitching matchmaking sessions where we will have the pleasure of bringing some of the most innovative solutions by EIC companies to the needs, the challenges that some of our cities here representing the mission cities have currently in their priorities, and I believe these are shared priorities across majority of the cities of the mission cities. Without further ado anyway, perhaps it would be wise to start with a little quick introduction of the program, what we're talking about, in the context. And in order to do so, much better than me, I'm pleased to invite here on stage Vasilis Tsanidis, who is Innovation Procurement Program Coordinator at ISMEA. He's also Project Officer of the Spin4AC program. Vasilis, please welcome on the stage. Round of applause for Vasilis, and stage is yours for a quick introduction about Spin4AC and the EIC Innovation Procurement Program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. As you have heard, my name is Vasilis Tsanidis. I am coordinating the Innovation Procurement Program of the European Innovation Council. Before I start my short introduction about European Innovation Council and the Innovation Procurement Program, I would like first of all to thank the DGRTD Smart Cities unit that actually made this happen. We discussed long time ago, we started discussions already in September last year about having this matchmaking in the context of the annual Smart Cities conference. It is a unique opportunity to bring innovators, innovative solutions in front of the eyes of cities that are facing major challenges. And we should not forget that when it comes to procurement, cities and regions are playing a major role. More than 2 trillion euros are being spent in Europe through public procurement, and guess, more than 50% of this enormous budget is in the hands of cities and regions. So it's spent at municipal and regional levels. So cities and regions hold in their hands an incredible power to drive the demand, to drive innovation from the demand side. Having said that, I would like in my short presentation to briefly explain to you what EIC, European Innovation Council, is and why we are here today. European Innovation Council is a flagship initiative of Horizon Europe program that actually aims to support the most innovative solutions, the most innovative companies in our continent. Our success rate is very low. There is a big competition, but we are funding only the la crème de la crème when it comes to innovation in Europe. We have 3 different funding schemes within the European Innovation Council. I forgot to mention that our budget is more than 10 billion euros for a period of 7 years, and we are supporting early stage innovation through the Pathfinder scheme, more mature technologies through the transition scheme, and more close to the market innovative solutions, innovative companies through the accelerator scheme that actually supports financially the companies through grants, but also through equity. So you understand, this is the beauty of the EIC, that we don't give only grants, but we give also equity to the innovators that we are supporting financially. And we don't stop there. We go even the step further. We are aiming at the scaling up of the companies. That's why we have set up a series of programs in the context of the business acceleration services that are supporting the scaling up of the companies. One of these programs is the Innovation Procurement Program that is aiming at supporting the demand side. So we are organizing matchmakings like this one that you are participating today. We are offering assistance to public buyers. If you are a city that you would like assistance from us to procure innovation, don't hesitate to reach out to us to provide you technical support on how to draft your tender documents, to do a market consultation, whatever is will lead you to buy innovative solutions. We are supporting the supply side with the EIC Innovation Procurement Academies, a toolkit on innovation procurement, and of course, we are providing assistance to EIC innovators to do to submit offers in tenders in Europe and at the global level, and we are co-financing pilots. So again, if you are interested to do a pilot with an EIC beneficiary, do not hesitate to reach out to us because we are supporting also financially these pilots with public and private sector buyers. And because we are driven always by impact, here is the impact. After 2 years of implementation of activities through the EIC Innovation Procurement Program powered by Spin for EIC, we have managed to unlock 1.4 billion euros for innovators in Europe. Important. We have supported more the submission of tenders in Europe from innovators, around 50 million euros, and more than 16.5 million euros of tenders won through our assistance. And also some important information about the pilot. We have so far, since two years, we are supporting 38 pilots with public buyers, among them also cities, to test the innovative solutions before the purchasing. But the important is that these pilots are not in isolation. They are part of a whole ecosystem that nurtures the innovation procurement implementation. That's all on my side. I don't want to monopolize the stage. I'm here only to put the context. The stage here belongs to the esteemed representatives from the cities, and I would like to thank them for accepting our invitation to come here today and see the EIC innovators that are providing solutions in the area of urban challenge, colleagues, representatives from the cities of Aachen, Oslo, and Košice. Thank you very much, and again, thank you very much to DGRTD for giving us the opportunity to have this matchmaking, and all the best for the EIC innovators today that are pitching. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vasilis. And let me join you in thanking also on my end the city representatives that are here with us today, representing the over 100 mission cities. So perhaps without further ado, I would let themselves introduce themselves and basically present very briefly what are their current priorities, what are the challenges that they're bringing forward. So I would follow the order in which you are, and perhaps I would start with the city of Oslo. We have the pleasure of having here Geir Josebo, team leader for climate and environment in Oslo. Please, here, if you want to quickly introduce us, what are your needs, your challenges that you want to bring forward today? Thank you very much.
Thank you, too. Yeah. So, in the city of Oslo, you can see here this is our challenge and what we hope to get some solutions on in the future. I would like to say, for a start, like the city is already electric in some way. The transition to zero emission has been going on for many years now, and the new sales of electric passenger cars is almost 100%, and also in other sectors we see a great share of new electric vehicles and machines. So, and this also holds for our suppliers and our own vehicles and machines that the city owns. So, but we see that there are some segments which are difficult to electrify, not because of the technology or electric engine, it's because of energy and the needs for charging during the day. And this could be for machines and vehicles operating in outside the city or boundaries in the forest, or due to emergencies and places where we don't have the possibility to install charging infrastructure or high-speed charging infrastructure. So, and also the need during the year often varies. So could be temporary sometimes, and depends on the season. So that's some our barriers that we need to overcome and need solutions for. So I also see that when we look into things, we try to explore the facts or how much we actually use our machines and vehicles. And we see that the things we're planning for, we have an idea of how much the peak demand is. We actually look into the figures. We see that it's not often so high. So that's something we try to do to not to over-invest or overbuild in a fast charging infrastructure, which is really expensive. So we see a clear need now for solutions that we can move, that also can be shared with others, both inside our city, between the agencies, but also with our suppliers, or maybe also the inhabitants. So it has to be something that we can use, be really flexible in our city. So we need practical approaches that reduce the peak demand, especially high during the winter in Norway. Make better use of the grid capacity, and something that supports shared use, either through could be mobile solutions, smart charging, and new business models that lower our investment barriers. So I think that was a small introduction to the challenges we have. So.
Thank you very much, Hera. And yep, I think your need, your challenge is quite shared with most of the cities here in the room today. Thank you very much, and I'm curious to hear about the solutions that our EIC beneficiaries will be proposing to this challenge, and your needs of actually more flexibility, which is this shared challenge. But I would move on in our virtual trip around Europe, and from Oslo, we're moving to Košice in Slovakia, so I'm happy to leave it over to Mišo Hudak from the Strategic Development Department. Please, Mišo, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit more about your challenge?
My name is Mišo, and I came here to ask for help from different perspective. In city of Košice, in last 10 years, since 2015, 2016, we heavily invested into the grid, into the fleets, into the complete reconstruction of our tram tracks, but somehow we underestimated the power of collecting of data and our systems that we are using for calculating prices, to organize new lines or organize like old lines, to effectively use our fleet of buses and trams are really outdated, and many of data that we have are more based on guesses, not on real counting of what kind of passengers we have, what are the peak hours, what are the most, I would say, dense exchange hubs in the city. So this we really are. I would say, like some of our colleagues from transportation companies said, like, we did it 20 years ago and it was fine then. So I think it's not applicable for today. So this is what we are looking for, mainly because of two things. One is we need to be more transparent and more, I would say, reachable for other partners, because we are opening our system for integrated system towards whole region, which means 2 regional municipalities, and beside us there is other major city, and we want to have integrated system. So it's really tough to be that outdated towards them. And second one is about offering better service for our citizen, because we are subsidizing our transportation system by some money from the budget, and it's not really answering the needs. So we really need to rebuild our data collecting, data analysis system, who are our passengers, who are our clients, how they are behave, because what we are using, it's from late 90s, early 2000s. So this is why we are on this market. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Misho. And last but not least, we're moving now to Germany, to Aachen. I am pleased to introduce to you all Christine Hess-Ackens. She's the EU Missing Coordinator for Aachen. Christine, would you like to also on your end introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more what Aachen is looking for?
Yes, thanks so much for the invitation. And well, as you already said, quite similar challenges that probably many cities all over Europe have. So I brought 2 challenges. Maybe the first one is very close to the challenge that Gaia has presented. Maybe with the difference that we don't have to look for stationary solutions for more remote areas like in Oslo, because Aachen is like quite a dense and medium-sized city. But we are looking exactly for this, the smart solutions for the charging infrastructure. We don't have the very high numbers as in Norway or in Oslo, but the uptake is quite good, and electric mobility is growing. So we are struggling to keep pace with the infrastructure planning on the one hand, but also maintenance. So this aspect would be especially interesting for us as well, and also to include the user experience when it comes to downtime times and reduce them. So especially looking at like a more precise planning tool, also the smart charging when it comes to peak hours and grid constraints, and maybe some forecasting for like maintenance of the charging station would be extremely interesting for us to get help here. And I brought a second challenge when it comes to our traffic signal controlling. So I'm a bit of the messenger of our technical colleagues. I have a cheat sheet. I might have to look at it. So we are really looking at the AI-based travel forecasting and adaptability of our traffic signal control, lights. So I think like many cities, we're facing more congestion, especially at peak hours, because we're a dense and small city. And we have a growing complexity of the different modes. So sometimes there are conflicting demands, especially between public transport, which in our cases are buses, cyclists, pedestrians. And at the same time, our infrastructure, also a bit like Misho said, are the traffic lights that are there. So they are at times like they cannot react sufficiently, and they are quite static. So this has impact on emissions, on travel times, and also on reliability and the attractiveness of the public transport. And I mean, of course, we want to have an attractive public transport, because one of our goals is to have a shift towards sustainable modes much more. So we're interested in AI-based solutions that can support short-term and also maybe real-time traffic forecasting, maybe also including weather, and optimize the travel signal control. So it would be important for us that solutions work with the existing infrastructure because we cannot replace the full citywide system, but it would have to be interoperable with our old system and also the existing traffic management system that we have in place, which is quite standard, I think, for German cities. And it would be very interesting to look at solutions that have control strategies and would be able to prioritize buses, active mobility, emergency vehicles. So yeah, if relevant, we are also working with the digital twin and smart city approaches. So I think there's quite a broad topic where this would come in handy, good solutions to implement.
Thank you very much, Christine. And yeah, the key words I take away: interoperability, flexibility. I think these are common across all the challenges that we have just heard. So eager to move forward now in the core part of this session, which is actually the pitching per se. So how will it work now? Well, now I will be inviting 3 representatives from 3 EIC companies that will be presenting to you and to all our friends here in the audience, as well as to all the people connected online, their solution, their products that is somehow meeting the needs, the challenges that you have just been describing to us. And each one of them will have maximum 8 minutes. So we're going to be kind of strict here. We're going to allow 8 minutes to present, to pitch their solutions. And then after this pitch, you will have the possibility to ask any questions, curiosities that you may have to our colleagues that will have just pitched and presented their product, their solution. Without further ado, therefore, I would move on and start inviting first on stage Kalin Kamenov from Navigato, Bulgarian company specialized in optimizing existing electrical vehicle charging assets. So should be an interoperable, flexible solution that should fit into existing infrastructure. Kalin, as anticipated, you have 8 minutes for you. That's the slide clicker to present your solution. You can, as you want, you can use either these mics here or I can give you this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm very thankful for the invitation. Thank you, David. It's a big challenge on one-by-one session. When you told me, man, you are pitching 15 minutes, you should make 8 minutes. I tried to cut everything and to explain what we have indeed. I'm Kalin Kamenov. I'm a founder of Navigato AI. We are founded 2015 and growing insanely by a lot of metamorphoses from the app that tracking the charging points to SaaS. And from 1.5 years, we're working on our AI solution. We help mission cities to turn existing EV charging infrastructure into measurable, into governable and flexibility-ready urban energy assets. The key message is simple. Cities can start with existing assets, with existing data, with existing infrastructure, without new capex. This is our message to the cities. And why now? Because EV charging becoming a part of the urban energy system is a not only separate infrastructure like to the current moment. As the city representatives explained, it have a big problems, big gaps. Cities need evidence, governments, and investment readiness before scaling a future, before investing more. The cities demand for the intelligence between charges, grid constraints, and city climate goals. That's the answer why now. And today, most charging infrastructure is still passive, as I explained, and cities monitor charging operators managing something. They're putting their own AI and their own kind of solutions, but this is not a part for whole picture. This not helps to cities to understand where is the gaps, where is the grid constraints, where is the everything. They still face underused assets, manual decisions, fragmented reporting, and unmanaged flexibility potential. So before buying more new infrastructure, as the representative of Oslo explained, to put some kind of fast chargers, this is a critical. They need to some kind of feasibility study and research. What is our solution? Navigato AI is the software layer that sits above existing core planet infrastructure. It connects utilization, tariffs, grid constraints, and ESG evidence, then produces explainable recommendation and feasibility studies. And importantly, cities can start without replacing the current infrastructure, without investing in new capex. This is the key. To be clear, we are not a utility company. We are not sell energy. We build the AI agent layer that helps to optimize EV charging demand under government rules. In the pilot phase, this is the simulation. It's a decision support only. Our product have three modules. The first module is electronomics. Electronomics is optimizing the charging and flexibility readiness. This is our key AI solution. And SiteSim is a model scenario and investment choices. This projects the digital twin of the city. And the final model is the auditor. This produces the ESG and reporting outputs. All that stuff is formalizing the digital twin version 2 that we are announcing, like a digital twin version 2. Our Q4 2026 pilot runs 90 days. It's designed as a low-risk pre-procurement step. We connect our model sites, analyze the data, simulate the better scenarios, and deliver a dashboard plus a procurement-ready roadmap. The result is the evidence before the investment. This is our goal, to help the cities to use our tool for this. What makes us different that other tools is solving only one problem. CPMS manages their charges, as explained. I will not repeat something. Consultants produce some kind of reports and studies, and the flexibility platform starts later in the version. We connect EV infrastructure, grid constraints, simulation, and ESG evidence in one city-safe layer. We're doing that. Our business model, as explained, is a pilot first and procurement friendly. We begin with the paid 90-day pilot, then expand into SaaS, integration and reporting workflows. So first we prove value, then we scale with the city together. That means we have a lot of modules that can offer to the city dependent needs, because we're working more than 1.5 years, and we have a lot of researchers, we have a lot of people that put a lot of efforts in this. And behind us is we're working closely with the Naval Academy, in Bulgaria, with the BTU, Burgas Technical University, and one of our team members is working with MIT, and he has free books. We have strong people on board, and now seeking with the cities, 1 to 3 cities, to make a pilot with us, to start with us, and we need to prove our solution. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kalin. And thank you also for sticking in the tight timeline. You even did better, so thanks for that. I will leave it now to Christine, Misho, here. Any comments, questions? Who wants to go first?
Yes, thank you for a really nice presentation and interesting software solutions. A problem we have, or a challenge we have in Oslo, in regards the chargers, mostly slow charging infrastructure that we have for our own fleet. And it consists of a variety, many different systems or physical installations. So will this system work with that type of selection when we have so many different back systems and physical installations? Or do we need to streamline our own charging infrastructure to make it work?
You need to give all that data, and we will analyze with our models, and after that we need to make some kind of mutual decisions what is the best for you, because I don't know the current situation. We need to understand it. We need to teach our child to work. Thank you.
So, thanks so much. It looks like it could meet a lot of the challenges we have around charging infrastructure. So from your experience, like who would be the colleague in the city administration who works with you most? Is it IT colleagues? Is it from the e-mobility team? Do you also, like, is it a cross-departmental team, or is it okay for one colleague to work with you? Because that, in consequence, like how much time does it like eat in the city administration? It's also always an argument to go into a pilot or not, to invest the time with us.
We have a special questionnaire. We have a lot of ready documents that we can provide to you. And we need only one person to communicate with us and to start working. This is some kind of, we already played this pilot processing, and, but we need to prove in the real situation. You know.
And maybe a second question, maybe as a European company, you will already answer it with one word, but internally it's always a question when it comes to our data security colleagues. So is it like GDPR proof?
Trust me, I know everything. I'm a member of the IOTA Evangelist Network. I'm working in the fintech sector, and our system is compliant with DORA, MiCA, and GDPR, everything. We can cover everything, and the sensitive data we are collecting in the blockchain is unmutable. It's no problem.
Misho, any questions, comments?
Our challenge is different, but I have a question. Our city is opposite of Oslo, so we are not completely EV, we are opposite of that. But we are introducing first fleet, I think 18 to 20 buses and first charging stations. My question is if you are able also to somehow help design for decade how the whole system should evolve in city, which is on the start. We cannot give you any data right now because we're just on the start, but if you can predict something, if you can combine it with what we already have right now.
Totally, I think we can help you because our models is doing this prediction analysis, this predictionally planning, everything that you need, but we need the information from your side, what indeed you need to do. And after that, we will give you some kind of analysis from our perspective and scientific perspective, this how we can install it in the city and how it's functional and how much energy is will consume and ESG emissions and everything.
But you can suggest some scenarios of development.
Yes, yes, definitely. Okay. Definitely, yes. Okay. But now, because I'm a passionate EV guy from 2015 and they announced me like I'm some kind of abnormal person, it's like an EV evangelist, but last years I think I'm not. For that reason, I put my efforts in these fast chargers, in these technologies, in this IoT. In 2019, we won a competition IoT on the blockchain in Malta. And for that reason, we collect a lot of info. We have a lot of scenarios. We have our own models. That is the low consumption models. This is the key. We are partnering with Google, with Microsoft, with Stackit in Germany, and should be cloud agnostic, should be simple, and to serve to cities. Thank you.
Kalin, thank you. Thank you very much. And please stay around because for sure we will have further networking sessions afterwards. So, of course, our representatives from the companies will be more than happy to engage in conversations with any other who will have further questions or curiosities about what has just been presented. But now I would move on into our next pitching, which will be moving from Bulgaria to Switzerland. So I'm pleased to invite now on stage Stefano Kriko, who is head of sales for Orbiwise, a company from Switzerland, who is focusing on Internet of Things platforms and solutions. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the LoRaWAN network. I think that's something that they're actually working on. That is a very interesting alternative to basically mobile telephone connectivity. And I think Stefano will be telling us a little bit more about what all this can be, how this can be used and what advantages it actually has. So as before, Stefano, 8 minutes for you, and then colleagues will have probably some questions for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. So, as David was mentioning, the company is Swiss. I am Italian, though. I live in Milano, and the headquarters is in Geneva, and the team, the founder team, is also coming from the area. Sorry, it's going a bit too fast. The company was founded around the same time, 2014, 2015. Started with the LoRaWAN platform, and then we developed also a cloud data platform, FlintCore, more recently. We have customers in all over the world, actually, not only in Europe. We have customers in the US, in Latin America, in Asia Pacific, and in Australia. Sorry, it's going very fast. Basically, LoRaWAN. What is LoRaWAN? Is a wireless technology which allows low power and wide range connectivity. It's different from cellular. It uses a bandwidth which is free, and it's very unique because of the coverage that it allows, deep indoor coverage, and also uses sensors with battery with the very low consumption. Sensors, for instance, in meters, in water meters and gas meter, can last over 10 years without changing the battery, which means that a very low power is used. And it's also, I mean, this is also towards sustainability, of course. And so the interesting features of LoRaWAN is the long range. It's greater than cellular, deep indoor, star topology, lifetime can be more than 10 years, and also the low cost, minimal infrastructure, and low cost of end node. Deploying a LoRaWAN network, if there is no network, can be done pretty easily. Antennas cost much less than a typical cellular antenna, and they can be installed almost anywhere on poles, but also on buildings and so on. So our platform, Orbi1, is the core network server. As you see from the schema, you have devices, gateways, which are antennas, the LoRaWAN server, and the application server that manage the data. We come to that later. Just a quick overview of the type of use cases that we can show that are real use cases. We have 2 million objects connected to our network, and worldwide, I think there are several tens of millions of objects connected to other networks. We have a customer here in Europe, which is the city of Luxembourg. We have a regional customer in the Basque region, Valencia region, some departments, UK cities. Also in Bulgaria, we have a gas meter customer, India, Australia, Canada. So these are basically the meters, as you see, that connect and send their data. And then you have, we have customers, especially here in Europe, in UK, for smart lighting controllers. We have around 100,000 smart controllers where you control the power of the light and also the level of power of the light. Parking, which relates to mobility, and we have customers in Italy and in Switzerland, in Indian cities, in Canadian cities. Then we have environmental pollution monitoring, where we show one product that was developed by us, which is a noise pollution monitor, the small box, but of course there are sensors for a lot of environmental pollution, CO2, NO, powder, and so on and so forth, particulates and so on. And then we have also, which is interesting also for some of the challenges of our guest cities, is the possibility of tracking, which is used in utilities, which is used in logistics, but can be used also in managing fleets of data, fleets of buses and public transport and so on, and also people. And also we have had cases where, sorry for it's moving back and forth continuously. We have had cases, for instance, in counting people in railway stations and in dense environments. Then the last product that we have is Flint Core, which is an IoT platform. We call it the Swiss Army knife. Of course, we are Swiss, of IoT, because it allows to do a lot of things, uses different protocols. It's not only related to LoRaWAN, while the other platform is LoRaWAN based. This one can interface with any source of data. And you will see from the next slides what I mean. So this is the landing page. So you see that for smart cities, we have already implemented a number of widgets that allow very quick generation of content based on the actual data that are retrieved either from LoRaWAN or from narrowband IoT, cellular, SCADA, whatever source of data you can get. And there is an integrated AI assistant which allows you to very quickly and easily implement a dashboard and create, let's say, interactive solution. And the platform can also be used by people without deep expertise and training. Okay. You see, I mean, some of the dashboard or content that can be displayed. I mean, the first left shows, for instance, waste bin in a city with location. The second one is actually data coming from particulate measurements. And then you have also data from weather, okay, the temperature in Geneva and so on. And this is normally, you don't need, you get data from a network of information that gives you direct immediate data. And then the last one on the right is a dashboard created based on the data that come from this appliance control. I finished my presentation. I think I am right
Perfectly on time. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It was very quick. I mean, because keeping in 8 minutes for all of that, I mean, LoRaWAN requires much more but okay. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, Stefano. And well, up to you. Any comments, questions, curiosities about what Stefano just told us?
So, thank you very much. A great presentation. I was a bit curious about the slide when you had this tracking device, because in our city we have a lot of equipment, like small machines, like lawn movers, leaf blowers, owned by schools, city districts, and agencies responsible for different tasks, so maybe 3,000-4,000 items over the city. And we have no idea where they are now, and what's the, like, if installing this type of hardware, could we get the information about the tracking GPS status, I guess, but also it's possible to have the battery status, usage, and that kind of information, like to support us in to have more sharing or to have knowledge about the status of our what we own. So.
It's actually, there are a lot of different type of trackers available. Of course, what you need you can have trackers that work with LoRaWAN. You can have trackers that work also with narrowband IoT. Narrowband IoT is the adaptation of cellular, for people who are not familiar with the terminology, adaptation of cellular to low power wide range. So it's a specific software that allows you to use the cellular coverage, but use only data, okay? Low rate data. And there are also sensors with this. So regardless of the coverage, of course, we have a product to manage a LoRaWAN. But, I mean, for instance, Flint Core also can collect data from narrowband IoT. Basically, what you need is this type of sensors, but there are a lot of companies that produce. I have seen small sensors that can be applied to bikes, for instance, okay? That you just as big as this, and you apply to a bike, and you can, if you have coverage, you know where the bike is in every moment. Because even if it is a low data rate, I mean, it's enough. Even LoRaWAN gives you enough coverage and enough bandwidth to understand and to follow the path of a bike or a car even. There are trackers that are used also for trucks. They have been using it also for tracking material that needs to be taken under very, very cold conditions. Remember when we have the vaccines for COVID or stuff like that. So tracking is actually quite developed. It's just a matter of having the right contacts and knowing who is doing what. There are also trackers. The picture that I put there, it's a tracker which is like a badge for people. This is used in dangerous environments, such as oil and gas plants, mines, and stuff like that. Of course, you don't want to track people because of GDPR issues within a factory. I mean, because of course there are issues with that. But if it is for their safety, you can do that, of course, under certain conditions. So there are really a lot of different type of opportunities there. And the most important thing is to get the data, so you have the coverage. Either via GPS, normally tracking is done either via GPS, but GPS is consuming a bit too much battery, or within buildings where the GPS doesn't work with Bluetooth beaconing, typically, or Wi-Fi beaconing. These are the two technologies that are used within buildings.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We are probably our city, the main, the city from this street that are going to ask a lot of questions. My first question is about what can collect and what can your trackers calculate beside like normal, I would say, attributes. Because we are looking for systems that could help us to identify the specific places where capacity of our buses or our trams are overloaded or they are underused, and we need to have to change something over the line or to bring different capacity of buses or different buses per hour. Like, what can your trackers can add to tracking just navigation around the city? Like, what else are there?
Well, as I say, it depends mostly on which type of sensors you can use. There are sensors actually that have been developed to collect transport data, people that flow through a certain gauge or gate or whatever. Sensors that in the building collect the data about how many people are in one room, because you count how many. Of course, temperature, humidity, all this type of stuff. So there are really a lot of sensors available. And a lot of sensors are already available both with narrowband IoT or LoRaWAN or other technologies. So it's a matter of studying the use case and how you can reach which type of data you need and how to collect and manipulate the data in order to get to the goal that you want. So you need either to have the connectivity, and by the way, we have also a customer in Slovakia, so basically they have implemented a small project in, I think mostly in Bratislava, but it's a small customer. It's an operator. You probably know them, Svan. It's a mobile operator in Slovakia. And they implemented a small project on parking, electrical parking. So, so it's having the coverage, having the right sensor, and gathering the right data. But, we are not just providing a product. We are also available to discuss and study with the customer whatever they need in order to help them. In Luxembourg, for instance, which is a direct customer, the city of Luxembourg, they started with meters, but now they are implementing a number of other use cases based on the same network. The advantage of LoRaWAN is that with the same network, you can do a lot of things in parallel. When you have the coverage, you can do many things. You don't need to reinvent the wheel or install some other coverage.
I have second question. It's not.
I'm going out.
And it's not even connected with public transport.
Sorry?
AI or not?
Well, I mean, maybe we can invite you even to proceed afterwards.
Okay.
There's going to be occasion.
It's quite different, but from what I saw. Okay.
Just for
I will
the sake
keep it
of
for
time.
later.
Yeah, okay.
I'm also curious to hear about Christine's final quick comment.
Okay, final quick question, maybe basic understanding from my side. So I think we have a quite good LoRaWAN coverage.
Okay.
So do I understand it correctly that you would be able to like plug in the existing system to run, for example, the the Swiss Army knife tool? Or do you set up the LoRaWAN system?
I don't know who is providing you the LoRaWAN network. If I know, I know most of the actors in this space. So, but of course, if you have a LoRaWAN network, we can, and you want to develop this and you want to, let's say, get more from what you have already deployed, we can help you with that. We can try to help you. And we can also direct you to the ecosystem because in the LoRa Alliance, I didn't mention the LoRa Alliance, which is the body that encompasses all the companies working in LoRa. There are operators, there are solution provider or platform provider, and there are hardware provider that provide antennas and devices, which is I would say, one of the most important portions of it. So I'm more than happy to help you with that.
Thank you very much, Stefano. And well, now perhaps we can move into our last pitch for this session. And now I'm pleased to invite on stage Victor Perez Carmona from FlexiGrid. So from Switzerland, now we're moving to Spain, and we're moving back to increasing capacity of distribution grids by basically, if I'm not wrong, Victor, utilizing customer flexibility, right? That should be it. Yes. As before, 8 minutes for you. Thank you very much.
I'll put the timer here. Hello, everyone. My name is Victor Perez. I work for FlexiGrid, and we are also part of the EIC Accelerator program, so we thank you for that. It's been a great journey starting from Europe and expanding internationally. And today we're here to share a little bit our experiences in different cities of Europe, but also abroad. So I will be mentioning some real pilots and some real projects we have. And I will be speaking specifically about how we are helping the orchestration of flexible grids. So today I'll be speaking a lot about the networks and the network operators. But today, let's briefly introduce the team. We are a company with headquarters in Gijón, in Spain, and in Stockholm, in Sweden. And we've been growing since 2020. Now we're present in over 11 countries with 25 grid operators that we work with. And the idea today was to reflect a little bit on the challenges. Mostly, I'll be focusing the conversation in the challenges presented by Oslo and Aachen. And in fact, I wanted to mention the two things that have been mentioned today, which is the overinvestment. So we'll see that grids have been overinvested, as Geert mentioned. And also, as Christine said, sometimes we also have a lack of visibility, and we need efficient planning. So we believe that having a digital twin, we've heard digital twins of the cities, we help the grid operators to have a digital twin of the grid with 3 capabilities. I'll keep on repeating these capabilities throughout the conversation. These are the monitoring, the ability to do efficient planning with analytics, and the flex orchestration. And here is the big question of why. I don't have a pointer here. Well, it's because of the two things, as I said, that Oslo and Aachen mentioned. Lack of efficient planning and overinvestment. If we see our grids, now I'll reflect to that red curve, they are designed for the peak capacity. In Spain, for example, the regulator forces them to choose the worst moment over the past 5 years. Some years ago, the worst moment was when Spain won the World Cup. This has evolved. Now it's a different worst moment. But they use this plus a safety margin. While in reality, if we see the average utilization for Europe, for low voltage is under the 10%. So we have underutilized grids that have been designed for the peak capacity. Why is this? Because it's non-dynamic. However, there are efficient ways to have a maximal utilization of existing assets while we are deploying more and more on grid. So to do this, we have those three capabilities. As we said, the monitoring, the analytics, and the flex management. So that's enough theory. I'm going to start now showing some of the examples in different cities. So we'll start with the monitoring. In the next video, I'll be showing the city of Gijón. Please bear in mind that all of the data has been anonymized because it's the data coming from the smart meters from the different clients. We've been given access to show all of these examples from Gijón, from Auckland in New Zealand, and then from the island of Arholma in Sweden. So I'll start with Gijón. Here we're seeing the different streets, and now we'll change the parameter to be shown. I'm going to show the currents that are flowing through the different streets at different times. Here we see maximum currents. We were notified by the grid operator that there has been a problem in this specific area of the city. And with FlexiGrid, we were able to localize the exact area, the exact street that is having this problem. So before activating any flexibility, the most important thing is having the availability to monitor and understand where that problem happens. And then, once we see what we call the one physical reality in the grid, we see a lot of flex schemes, or what the founder of FlexiGrid calls religions. Every country, every region is a bit different. Here in Europe, we believe in flex markets. We've actually seen them in Italy, in Sweden, in Norway, in Ireland, in Spain. But in other countries, they believe more on direct control or engaging with aggregators to do this. So today, I'll show two examples. One, showing a direct control through dynamic operating envelopes in Auckland, in New Zealand. And then I'll go into the flexibility markets that are present in Spain and Italy. So looking at the dynamic operating envelopes, the concept is really simple. Basically, if the citizens of the city have flexible resources and they access this program, this is an opt-in program with 84% success rate in this city, in Auckland, they give consent to the network operator to control their EVs. So they are able to switch when these EVs are charged. They just tell them, look, at 8 a.m. I need my car charged. You're able to do this. In return, you get a discount on your grid tariff. So this is also something that in Germany, through regulation, Energiewende 14A has been enforcing, reduce the load up to 4.2 kilowatts. So it's something that is an opt-in program, and now we'll see how it works. Basically, we're forecasting when this is going to be requested, and before the people join the program, they're going to have an estimate of how many hours of the year this is going to be necessary. And in case that they join and this changes, they can always opt out. But as we said, the more EV and the more electrification happens, the more the grid cost of the tariffs are rising. So back in the day, the electricity part of the tariff was higher than the grid, but in cities like Norway, Sweden, actually the grid costs are now higher than the electricity. So this is something that the network operators can control. The other option is the flexibility markets, in which is not only EVs, but all of the type of resources, such as solar panels, heat pump. So different things can accept different seasonalities. Okay. So I'll jump into the videos. Before clicking on the video, we're going to be seeing the streets of Auckland. And when you see, first, as we said, monitoring and analytics, we'll see in green and blue colors, those are the moments of the day in which there is more capacity than the grid can handle, therefore there is an undervoltage. This happens because of some electricity rules, but the important thing is that we locate where the EVs are connected to the grid. We're able to see throughout the day when there are the extra capacity or the undervoltages, and then the third layer, which is the grid orchestration, we'll click now on one of the areas. We can see when the load, so the light blue curve on the top, is going over the transformer limit. And we can see on the bottom how many of those EVs are connected. After that, in those specific moments, we can send this signal, and this can be taken either by an aggregator, by a retailer, such as Octopus or Tiver, or directly with the consumer. That depends, as we said, on the grid schemes, basically on the religion, but technologically it's the same. If there is more than one DER, then we can focus on one specific area. We go back to the cases of Gijón, but we have the same program working in Arholma. Here we can open one station, and we can see the aggregated load. So this is the load for the whole region that day. We can forecast it, and in the bottom, we can see what's the available flexibility. So either flexible connections with the industry, or it could be a flex market, it could be all of these electric vehicles. So here we are really pulling on the synergies from the different distributed energy resources. And how we frame it is by events. So hour by hour, we tell you, hey, there is this event, we're going over the limits, what are the solutions you can accept or reject? And then this is operated by the grid operator, so by Elvia or the grid operator in Aachen, and this is sent then to the final consumers. So yeah, just wanted to say that the flexibility in the low voltage is real, different networks require different flexibility tools, and the regulatory barriers are beginning to fall. So with that, we'll try to orchestrate electricity grids together.
Thank you very much, Victor. Perfect timing, and well, yeah, happy to leave it to you. Christine, here. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'm faster. Well, thanks so much. 2 questions. So, is like the main stakeholder you would be working with in cities? Is it like the grid operator or city administration?
Yeah, so it will be the grid operators, but different cities in Europe have different organizations. For example, we were speaking, Oslo owns 50% of the grid operator. I know that in Munich, for example, the city owns its grid, but even if the city does not own the grid, it does own the citizenship and the citizenship interest. So we always believe that cities are also advocates for doing these projects, and also they are the ones that influence regulatory sandbox to do this project. So sometimes the cities procure the project and then the grid operator is a participant on it.
And so you were talking about like citizens, but this would be also interesting for us maybe to start with a pilot with our own fleet, right? With the city-owned fleet. Would that make sense? Like because we have quite a big electric fleet.
Yep.
And to start this as a pilot would.
Yeah, sorry, I mentioned citizens on the low voltage, but the tool also works on the medium voltage, and in fact, the citizen industry is anything connected to the electricity grid. At the end of the day, even if you optimize the industrial part, the grid is just one, and the grid cost is shared evenly through, well, not evenly, but it's shared across all of the taxpayers. So citizens benefit, but also the industries themselves. For industries, in reality, more than the cost of the grid, the most important thing for now is the access. So they're looking for that velocity in connecting to the grid. So flexibility allows them to connect, while then the grid reduces the cost, and the citizens are a little bit more cost sensitive. That's what we see.
Yes, thank you for interesting presentation. And we are now in Oslo. We are now exploring the flexibility market. What's in it for us, and how can we use it both to sell flexibility and optimize our own organization. So first we're looking at the swimming pools and how we can stop warming them up for a period of time to sell that flexibility. And for chargers, we now see if we can move or shift the charging based on price signals. Mm-hmm. And also offer the flexibility by cutting the charging. So I was wondering, will this is quite advanced system, and somebody Christine was looking at this tool. We need to sort of organize ourselves that you have someone in charge of the whole. If we include different types of areas like the swimming pool, batteries, chargers, and other loads that we can use for the flexibility markets. How is this? Is it the how can I say it? The ones in the responsibility in the city. How do we need to organize ourselves to use this kind of tools? Is it possible, or should this be responsibility left to the grid operator?
Yeah. So the good thing in Europe is that we have a lot of standardization when it comes to data, and all of the consumption, all of the demand you mentioned will have a smart meter. Well, maybe in Germany, smart meter deployment is still happening, but in the rest of Europe, in Oslo, is 100% coverage. So the tool directly understands which type of consumption it is, whether this is an EV, is a residential consumer, because we have seen the historical data from, we saw that 90 million connection points. So as long as you tell us this is a swimming pool, this is this is that, then the tool will paint it on the graph and it will tell you this is happening. Therefore, the final user will be the grid operators. From the city, you only need to give them access. I mean, at the end of the day, they already have access to to that information. So there should be, again, for me, the involvement here from the city mostly is the use case. And they are the ones that have the demand side closer. As you said before, the grid operators, when we were having a chat, may not have efficiently planned for this. They may have just over-invested in traditional grids, and now this has been a change, especially because they do the planning cycles for 5 to 6 years in Europe, and the change has been a little bit faster. So the use cases, I think, are closer to the city than they are to the grid operators, for sure.
Good. Well, Victor, thank you very much. Very interesting. And of course, I believe also yourself as well as colleagues will be available further ahead for further discussions and going more in details also with colleagues in the audience. So once again, thank you very much, Victor, for being with us this morning. And now, just to very quickly wrap it up, I would like to thank all three of you again, Christine and Mijo, for being with us and representing also the other mission cities today. Please bear with us because we will be continuing with a connected and relevant session now on stage happening in basically 5 minutes from now. So just allow some technical time to move some chairs and get everything fixed. But we will be continuing now with a panel discussion moderated by my colleague Dominique Sandy about how actually making all this possible, actually, how can procurement with cities happen? How can these innovations actually reach the cities? This will be the core topic of the discussions. On my end, thank you. Thank you very much again for being with us this morning in this session. Thank you very much to Christine, Mijo, Yar for being with us. And stay tuned. See you again in a few minutes for the follow-up panel discussion session. Thank you very much.